Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with this article here. So we do see Ripple president says company is pursuing US market opportunities, which is great to see. And we do see Monica Long, president of Ripple, has recently announced plans for the company to expand its engagement in the US market following a court ruling clarifying that XRP is not a security. And I already know what you guys are going to say. XRP keeps dumping. Like, what is going on here? Like, what's happening? For everybody that is unaware, I did say that XRP could most likely see the 52 or 53 to like 56 cent range yet again. It looks like we are going to see that, which is very exciting, especially for those that want to buy more XRP. Listen, the big move on the settlement announcement, or if you will, the win announcement around the case, I told you guys that that was a very large impulsive move and that we will most likely have a retracement. Everyone thought that 70 cents was going to hold. I basically said, listen, we've seen moves like this in the past. I'm expecting lower price action. The mid 50 cent range is what I'm really kind of eyeing for. So that is what I'm looking for right now. And again, remember, like, everybody is looking at this big update around XRP saying, oh, well, look at their, expanding, yet Ripple is, what are they doing? What are they selling XRP? Like, what's going on with XRP? Because XRP's price is not changing. I want you guys to realize that a lot of this adoption and the utility behind XRP is not at major scale yet. And I always say yet because that is what we are looking forward to seeing in the next couple months and possibly even years ahead, where we do see utility really affecting the price of XRP. And I do believe that that is going to happen eventually. We just have to be patient for that. And I get it, right? Like, we're seeing other altcoins going parabolic. It does get frustrating, but I want you guys to understand that that frustration is 100% warranted around any investment, especially something like XRP. But listen closely to this video from Monica Long.
So it's been a couple of weeks now since the judge's ruling in our case, providing clarity that XRP is not a security, which we're very happy about. It gives us a lot of clarity in terms of how Ripple will operate its business going forward. And we are, re-engaging with a lot of the US market. But really, a lot of our growth over the years has been outside of the US. I think that's reflective of where there is regulatory clarity, places like the UK, Europe, Singapore, Dubai in the Middle East. These are jurisdictions that have provided clear frameworks and rules. So that's where we see a lot of growth for our business around payments.
Yeah, and Monica, the UK was singled out as one of the big countries in the Statista report as one of the big hubs for fintech. Is that a country where you're looking to kind of up your investment, particularly as the UK wants to become a crypto hub with specific regulations tailored to crypto companies? Is that where you're looking to put more of your operations going forward?
Absolutely. So our large hub offices, of course, we have a presence in the US, but our presence in London has grown significantly over the years. That office has more than doubled in size, and we have a pretty large footprint in terms of our customer base throughout Europe and the Middle East. Dubai is another key office for us, as well as Singapore. So we've seen a lot of growth through Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific, and Latin America has been a region that has certainly been heating up for us. We have a key office there in Sao Paulo.
So yeah, I mean, we are going to start to see a lot more adoption and a lot more expansion on the XRP side of things from Ripple, especially within the US. We know that they are re-engaging in the US quite a bit. I really look forward to seeing what happens with Bank of America. We know that Bank of America was on standby for a while. Listen, a lot of what we are seeing, it's going to take some time, but I do expect a lot of updates coming soon from Ripple, where they are talking about expansions, partnerships, things like that. There's also a lot of NDAs in place, so we got to be a little bit more patient, but I will say things are looking up, especially for September. Also over here, so everyone is hyper-focused right now on BRICS and what's happening around BRICS. So we do see BRICS to announce memberships of new nations at summit, citing major shift in global order. Countries that have formally applied to join the alliance. We have a full list here. One of the biggest ones I've been looking at is Saudi Arabia, honestly. But for the most part, yeah, there's a ton of major countries that want to join the alliance. And we even do see down here, BRICS, South Africa says expansion will be announced at summit. And a lot of people have been looking into this because, listen, this is a major shift happening. One of the biggest things I do mention around the BRICS, though, is that there's a lot of distractions happening here. And BRICS addition of new nations may speed up de-dollarization was the future of Bitcoin. Over 20 countries have applied to join BRICS, a group of world economies comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The move could make for a strong financial reset, given the need for a common currency as the de-dollarization campaign continues. Bitcoin price could see yet another catalyst for value growth on the back of such tectonic shift towards greater adoption. And ultimately speaking, like, yeah, this is right on par with the financial reset. They need a problem, they have the solution. The whole BRICS idea of them moving against the dollar, and we're going to see de-dollarization push the dollar into oblivion, and there's no longer going to ever be a new reserve currency. Like, what I've been looking at around these events is the fact that yes, this is pushing us into the age of de-dollarization, but also what it's pushing us into is we need a solution to the problem, right? This is also why I say, like, it's all by design. It's all planned ahead of time. Everything that has been happening, from the sanctions on Russia going all the way back to March of 2022, all the way up until now, everything has been pinpointing to a reset, that we need a reset. We need a full-on new financial system. And what's going to be backing it? Well, it's going to be DLT, stablecoins, CBDCs, blockchain technology, all of that tied into one. And even if we look at the dollar today, like, it's at a point of making a big decision, and that decision is: are we about to have a breakout, or are we about to have yet again another breakdown to about roughly 99 for this continuation to the downside? To continue, right? Like, as we look at the dollar, we're at a significant area. The 3-day, the 50 3-day EMA, which is that orange line, we tapped it back here in July, reject it. We slightly went over it a little bit back in May, but yet we reject it, and the same goes for March of this year as well. Ultimately speaking, like, we could still run up all the way to about roughly like 104 to roughly 106 before having yet again a rejection to the downside. So I just want you guys to realize, like, we could still continue higher here on the dollar in the short term, while everybody thinks that the dollar is done, it's going to oblivion, which again I said is not going to be the case. Also, it seems as though everyone is now focused on what's happening with the FSB, with the IMF, the BIS, etc. I said over here, this goes back to July 17th. I said, remember this tweet regarding Ripple in the SEC case? I broke down why I believe the XRP case was planned since day one. Now, days later, we get the finalized FSB recommendations on a global regulatory framework. Look through the images / read my tweet regarding this. I find it very interesting that Ripple was able to comment / make recommendations regarding this framework while in the middle of a lawsuit. The best part about this document is that it confirms that the FSB wants to implement its recommendations worldwide by the end of 2025. Johnny Deaton did mention that crypto regulations will take some time / even years, and predicted 2025 would be his best guess. This is definitely interesting to note. And yeah, within this, we did see this quote here, which was the FSB will review the state of implementing its recommendations worldwide by the end of 2025. In September of this year, so next month, together with the IMF, it will deliver a joint report on the existing policies and regulatory issues to the G20. And also over here, I did talk, this goes July 11th, like this was a few days right before the big announcement around the case. This is talking more so about the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit and how it's been planned since day one, which I also do agree with. Like, all of this is by design. Like, even the de-dollarization move, sanctioning, things like that, it's all by design to create a big problem so that we can have the solution. And the solution is leveling the playing field through CBDCs, stablecoins, and having a neutral bridge currency instead of having a reserve currency, because a reserve currency has done more harm than good for all other countries as well. And also, we do see over here from ISO 222. Let's do it. He's posting the FSB Global Regulatory Framework for Crypto Asset Activities PDF file. Yet again, we do see G20 will have global regulations via IMF and FSB in early September. And here you guys have the quote down here. In terms of 801_XRP, he did post this as well. He said, G20 got to set it off. With these global crypto stablecoin and global stablecoin regulation recommendations, did you know the BRICS nations hold the next 3 to 4 G20 presidencies? They're running the house. Present presidency India, the G20 presidency is an opportunity to steer the world towards inclusive and sustainable growth. And this is exactly why it's all by plan. It's so that we can have this get pushed into the BRICS, and the BRICS are going to really demand a push back against having a reserve currency. They want to have the inclusive and sustainable growth market that is necessary in order to achieve their goals. And how do they achieve that? Well, it's through the internet of value, like Ripple has been saying since day one. And it's all within these documents. You guys are more than welcome to go and read all of these documents. It would take me way too much time to go over them in a video, and I just don't want to waste your guys' time. But here is a great video. It's about 4 minutes long. I'm going to play it because it's a very substantial video. It got posted by 801_XRP going back to July 18th. And we do see this is from a G20 meeting on July 18th. Speaking on digital public infrastructure, ministers and governors commended India's efforts in leveraging GPIs to accelerate financial inclusion in the last mile. FSB regulations, recommendations, financial sector issues, all things crypto. Check this out.
The next issue which I'll draw your attention to is India presidency had brought onto the table the issue of digital public infrastructure. We are happy that members acknowledged the significant role of DPI in rapidly advancing financial inclusion and productivity gains that we've achieved, and therefore transforming the lives of the poor in the country. So ministers and governors, and I'd like to present before you this particular point. Ministers and governors commended India's efforts in leveraging the DPIs to accelerate financial inclusion in the last mile. Members also endorsed the G20 policy recommendations for advancing financial inclusion and productivity gains through digital public infrastructure, which has been developed under the India presidency. The policy recommendations which have come out of these can help in guiding the G20 members as well as non-G20 members, so to harness their DPI for their own goals. So the DPI agenda has had a great kind of recognition for India and the achievements and the scaling up which has happened in India. The next issue I go on to is the financial sector issues. Members deliberated on the macro, financial and regulatory challenges posed by crypto assets ecosystem and on the potential global policy responses which are so required. So when I said financial sector issues, it pertains to the crypto issues. Members welcomed the high-level recommendations of the FSB on crypto asset activities and also the global stablecoin arrangements. Members also discussed the presidency note that India had prepared and noted that it would be an important input towards prioritizing areas of work essential for achieving a comprehensive, cohesive, and coordinated global policy and regulatory framework. So you can see these reports of the FSB, the synthesis report which is going to come, FSB and the IMF, and also the presidency note are all becoming vital inputs for the G20 membership to understand how to go about further on this issue towards arriving at something which is going to be a global policy, and it's also going to be a regulatory framework on which the positions will have to be taken. So I think it has acquired the necessary traction and recognition that, in fact, there were several members who did say it is so good that India has brought this issue on its priority and is working very well on this. I was going to add a bit later that there was also a round table held yesterday discussing the crypto and its implications and the unintended consequences of anything in that area left unregulated and so on. It was a very rich discussion, and there was recognition on that point as well, that the round table actually gave a lot of inputs to think, and many people brought in newer dimensions to that discussion. It was a very enriched discussion. The next one, which I'd like to draw your attention, is that there was a lot of discussion on climate finance.
So yeah, I mean, as we really kind of look at all of the events around crypto regulations, how to utilize crypto and accelerate this push on the digital frontier, it's all aligning with the G20 and even those that are not G20 countries as well, which she did say in this video, but it's all centered out on the BRICS. I do strongly believe that with what the BRICS are doing, with the expansions that's happening from the BRICS, it's not fully focused on, hey, let's cause the dollar to collapse fully. Let's cause de-dollarization at mass. No, what's happening is a fundamental shift in the financial system, yet they're not coming out and telling you that. See, a lot of people will get confused on what's actually happened. They'll think that, you know, the world is collapsing, that we're about to see, you know, the worst crash ever, which I do think that we will see a 2008 like collapse, probably even worse. But what it's going to do is it's going to kill off the traditional world of finance to usher in the digital rails. But they're going to do it, you know, without anyone really noticing, unless you are in this space and really seeing past all the nonsense, seeing past all the distractions, the mainstream media attention headlines, things like that. And yes, I do believe that Ripple and XRP are a significant player in this. I think that we are about to see major expansions on their side. And I do think that the US also, you know, a lot of people think that the dollar's done, that the dollar's dead, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I've said it many times over on Twitter as well, talking about the dollar and, you know, oh, look at the dollar's done. It's dead. It's collapsing. It's, you know, fully doomed. I've even talked about it. I've said that all of this is to accelerate the new system. It's to have the new system rise much faster than what they were going to do anyways. And it's just like the pandemic, right? 2020. During 2020, what they said was, hey, we need to get rid of cash because, you know, cash has germs. We need to go digital. We need to have this digital push. And all of this is aligning perfectly for this new system. And it seems as though all eyes are on 2025 to have global regulations around crypto. During that time, the next stage will be implementation of crypto. And I do think that we will start to see a few things happen beforehand, like for an example with XinFin and XDC. I do think that they will be one of the first ones out to really be implemented and utilized at scale, especially around trade finance. But things are falling into place, and definitely stay tuned for the rest of this month and also September. They are two big moments in this space, especially around this BRICS meeting, because I do think that we will see a few things come out from this meeting that we need to focus on. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.